Today in this video, I'll teach you how to properly secure your WordPress website for absolutely free. So to do this, we'll be using a free plugin. Now let's see how we can secure our website. So first of all, you have to go to your dashboard. So whatever type of website you're using, if you want to go to your dashboard, simply type in your website name. After that, put a /wp-admin. You will land on your dashboard. Now to do this, we'll first need to install a new plugin, a free plugin. So to do that, from the left hand side, you will see this option, plugins option. Hover over that and click on add new. Now there are many different plugins for this, but what I'll do is, and the one that we'll be using is this one, iThemes security. So just search for iThemes and you will see the first result, iThemes security, formerly known as Better WP Security. This is by iThemes. You can see it has more than 900,000 active installations, great rating, last updated very recently, and compatible with your version of WordPress. So everything looks fine. So just click on this install now button. Now once this plugin is successfully installed, just click on this activate button and obviously this plugin will be activated. Once it is activated, you will see a new option at the left hand side. So if you see at the left hand side, when you scroll down at the bottom, you will see this option, the last option, security option. You can hover that and click on settings. Now firstly, you will see this screen. So this is a quick setup kind of thing. So first, this will do a security check on your website and this will enable these options for you: banned users, database backup, local brute force protection, network brute force protection, strong password, WordPress tweaks, these settings. Now obviously we can just go ahead and do more changes in these websites or in these settings. Now for now, you just have to click on this button, secure site. Now this will run this security check and you should see a page like this. Now most of the things should be tick mark for you. These two things might not be tick mark for you. First option is if your site has SSL certificate. So if you see your website, if you see this logpad over here, and if you click on that, if it says connection is secure, it means that your website has SSL certificate. So you can click on this option, redirect HTTP request to HTTPS. Now what is this SSL certificate and what does this option mean? I'll explain you later on, because we'll be seeing all these settings in more detail. This is just a quick setup. Now you will see the network brute force protection and you will have to enter your email address, and after that you have to click on this link, activate network brute force protection. This thing will also be fixed for you. And now you should see everything is checkmark over here. Now you can close this option. Now as you can see, when you do that thing, most of the things are already activated for you or already enabled for you. So what this has done is this has done some basic settings on your website. Now you can go ahead and do some more changes to this website, or you can tweak these changes. For example, the first setting over here is this global settings. So this will configure the basic settings that control how this plugin functions. So you can click on this button, configure settings. So let's see how this thing works. So the first option over here is this option, write to files. So we have to allow this plugin iThemes security to write to these two files, wp-config.php and .htaccess. So make sure this thing is tick mark. Then after that, we have host lockout message, user lockout message, and community lockout message. I'll show you, or I'll explain you this message later on. First, let's understand the lockout, and after that we can understand the message. So what happens is you will see these settings over here. So many a times the hackers or the person who is trying to attack your website, they will come to your website and they will try to search for different pages. And many a times they are looking for a specific file or a specific page on your website. And many a times, because they are looking for that, they try many different URL structures and they see the 404 pages. Page not found things. Secondly, they can also try to attack your website by trying to log into your website. For example, they see your dashboard page or your login page and they type in username admin, they type in some password, and after that they try many different username and many different passwords just to try to log into your website. And once they log into your website, they can attack your website. Now what we are doing over here is we are blacklisting them. So whenever some user or an IP address tries to hack your website or tries to attack your website, we will lock them out. So here is the lockout threshold. So for example, let's see from here. See, the lockout threshold is 3 lockouts. Blacklist lockout period is 7 days and lockout period is 15 minutes. Now let me explain you this thing. So within 7 days, if a person or an IP address is trying to attack your website, for example, they were trying to log into your website, but they were unsuccessful, so they will be logged from your website. This will automatically happen, and you will understand more about this setting later on when we do some more settings. Okay, so if they are logged out of your website, first they will be logged out of your website for 15 minutes. Now whenever they are logged out, they will see this message. Okay, so error, or you have been logged out due to too many invalid login attempts, these kind of messages. So what you can do, you can just delete these messages and type in some message from your side, like don't try to hack this website, anything like that. Now let's continue to these settings. So this person, for example, is just logged out for first time. Now within 7 days, if this person again tries to attack your website, again tries to log into your website, again they will be logged out. That will be second logout, and again they will be logged out for 15 minutes. Now within 7 days, again this person tries to log into your website, invalid login attempts, they will be logged out for the third time. And when they are logged out for the third time, as you can see, because the blacklist threshold is 3 lockouts within 7 days, they will be permanently logged out to your website, which means that they cannot visit your website. Even if they just go to your website, for example, even if they just go to home page, they will not see this page like this. They will just see a message which would say error, you have been logged out due to too many invalid login attempts. So I hope you understand what does this thing means. Now what you should do is you should scroll down and always make sure you click on this button. When you click on this button, you will see, as you can see, your IP address will be entered over here. So if you're using, or if you are visiting your website from multiple computers, for example, you have your PC, then you also have a laptop from which you visit your website. What you can do is you can go to your laptop, go to this page, click on this button, so that it generates, or it gets your IP address for the for your laptop, and also go to your PC, click on this button so that it also gets your IP address for the PC. Now this will whitelist this IP address, which means that this IP address will not be locked out. Okay, so that is what it does. So make sure you click on this button and enter your IP address over here. Now when you scroll down, who can manage iThemes security, who can manage this plugin? Don't do anything. By default it is administrator, and that should be the setting. Now log type, now many things or many settings over here are not very important, so I'll be skipping them. But over here it says log type, which means that it will generate the event. For example, at this time someone tried to attack your website, he was logged out, those kind of events. So where do they want to save? You can just select the first option, database only. And for how many days you want to keep these log details? Not 60 days, that is just too much. Type 30 days. Okay, and here also just make it 60 days. Now this is the path where these log files will be saved. All right, now you can just scroll down at the bottom and just click on save settings. So these were the main global settings. Okay, you can again go to configure settings later on. If you want to do some changes, you can do it very easily. Now let's move on to second setting, which is this notification center. Not very important. This is only for notification purposes. So if you click on this button, configure settings. Now from which email address do you want to receive notifications? So I would recommend you most of the times just leave it blank. Don't type in anything. Now what this will do is, if you enable this thing, which in this case is enabled, so whenever there is something on your website, this will send notifications to you. And as you can see, you can select, if you have multiple administrators, you can select who all will receive this notification. If you type in, or if you just select all administrator, all the administrator will receive these notifications, and those notifications will be your database backups, or all the different details, like someone tried to hack your website or attack your website at this time from this location, this is the IP address of that person, those kind of notifications. So these all should be basically to default, no need to change anything from here. Just go ahead and click on save settings. Now user groups, here also you should not be doing anything, but let me show you what this thing does. Click on configure settings. So here you can control who all can do what. For example, contributor can do what. If you want to, you can see password is required, strong password is required by everyone, whether it's contributor, administrator, whoever it is. Okay, so if you enable this thing, now whoever users or whatever users are present on your website, now because you have enabled this thing, because you have install new plugin, when they log into their website or when they log into this website, now they will have to change the password, because this time this requires a strong password. And if they have already selected a strong password, then they don't have to change that. And you can just go ahead, edit this group, like what contributors can do. You can give some more capabilities to the contributor. For example, you can give some admin capabilities to the contributor. Obviously, you should not be doing that. So basically, don't do anything over here. Just close this thing. Now 404 detection, very important setting. Make sure to enable this thing and let's see what this thing does. So once enabled, click on this configure settings button. So many a times what happens is, as I explained you earlier, that a person who is trying to attack your website, they are looking for some vulnerabilities in your website, and they are looking for specific links and specific pages or files. So many a times what happens, they try to see that website, or they try to go to that link, and if they don't find that link, they will see the 404, which is page not found link. So if a user or an IP address is getting many 404 errors, many page not found errors, we suspect that that person is trying to attack a website. That person is trying to search for a page that does not exist on this website. So if they do that, they will be locked out. Now here we have some exceptions. Now first of all, let's understand the setting. Minutes to remember 404 error. So within 5 minutes, if they get 20 errors, they will be locked out. And we have already set the lockout setting in the global settings. Okay, so a person will be locked out if they within 7 days. If they are locked out for 3 times, they will be permanently locked out. Oh no, if you remember the global settings, there we did this setting. So here what happens is, if a person within 5 minutes is getting 20 errors of page not found, we will lock them. Okay, so if you want, you can increase or decrease this number. For example, within 10 minutes, if a person gets maybe 7 page not found error, we will lock them out. Now here we have whitelisted few pages or few files. Why? Because your Google AdSense, your Google Search Console, these things also looks for some file, like this robot.txt, these kind of files, and your caching plugins will see this file. So we are whitelisting this file because this can create some problems. So make sure you don't delete anything from here. Make sure these files are whitelisted. And we are also ignoring these file types. So if anyone tries to see your CSS, they cannot do any harm to your website, or these just JPEG images files. So not very important. So we are ignoring these file types. Mostly the person who is trying to attack your website, they are looking for PHP files. Okay, so make sure you don't by mistakenly type PHP over here. So this will basically, what it will do is, this will ignore the PHP files as well. So make sure don't do any changes over here. Don't do any changes over here. If you want, you can just increase or decrease these numbers. All right. And after that, just click on save settings. Now we have the away mode option. Let's understand what this thing does. So click on enable. Now what this setting will do is, for example, I know for the fact that I'll be visiting my website and I'll be doing my changes on my website only from this time to that time. For example, if I wake up at 8 AM and if I first visit my website, if I know for the fact that I visit my website at 10 AM or after 10 AM, and if I sleep at maybe 10 PM, then I know that I have to visit my website only between 10 AM to 10 PM. So what you can do is, you can restrict your dashboard access after you not visit your website. Let me just explain you. For example, type of restriction, you can select daily, and you can select 10 PM over here, and end time you can select maybe 9 AM. Okay, so what this will do is, this will restrict access to dashboard from 10 PM to morning 9 AM. So within this time period, whenever someone, even if you or even if anyone tries to visit this dashboard, they cannot do that. This is just to protect your website, so that whenever if the person is able to go to your dashboard, they can do anything to your website. They can corrupt your website. They can simply delete your website. They can harm your website. So this is what this thing does. Now, if you want to understand these things more better, you can just read these different text which is given at the top, just to explain these options. All right, so if you want to enable this thing, you can save this thing. Another option here can be one time. For example, if I know that I'm going for vacation for 7 days, so what I can do is, from that day, maybe from 20th to 27th. So now what this will do is from 20 to 27th of May, this will lock this dashboard. So no one can visit this dashboard. So this is what this setting does. I'll disable it because I'm not going to use it. Now banned users. It is automatically enabled for you. Just click on configure settings. Now just one thing, just click on this option. Just tick mark this option, hackrepair.com's blacklist feature. So this website has a list of all the blacklisted IP. So we want to import that list so that if those IP addresses try to visit your website, we will automatically already block them. Okay, and rest everything, you don't have to do anything. Just click on save settings. Now database backups. Click on configure settings. Now what this will do is this will send the database backups to your email address. So you can select whether you want to receive this on email address and also on locally, or only email address, or only save locally. Basically just select email only. And how many backups to retain? You can type maybe 3 or 4 or maybe 10. So 10 latest backups will be restored, and after that all the old backups will be automatically deleted. And you should be selecting zip file. And just don't do anything, just click on save settings. So basically this will send you the backup file to your email address. Then after that we have file change detection. You can enable this thing. Let's see what this will do. Click on configure settings. Now this setting is useful when, for example, here as you can see, first of all, the files and folder. So whenever there is any changes to these files and folders, for example, whenever there is any changes to WP login file or WP settings file or WP includes folder, WP content folder, you will get a notice that this file was changed. So if you change that file or if you did some changes on your website, you know that it was you. But if you did not do any changes on your website and if you get a notice that WP content folder was changed or it was edited, some more files were added or some files were changed, then you will get a notification and you can then know that someone is trying to attack your website, and you can do some more things from your side, like you can block that user, you can block that user's IP address. So you can do those settings. Now click on save settings. Now whenever you come to this thing, once you have enabled this, click on configure thing and click on scan file now. So this will scan all these files that is given over here, and this will tell you whether some changes were done to these files or not. All right. Then you have the file permissions, no settings related over here, so don't have to do anything. Then we have the local brute force and network brute force. Let's understand these two things. First, let's understand the local brute force. So click on configure settings. So this setting is helpful when someone is trying to log into your website. For example, as I said earlier, your username can be different, but because many people don't change the username which is given by the hosting, which most of the times is just admin. So many people don't change that username. So what these attackers and hackers try to do is they try to enter that username, they try to, enter some password, and they try to attack your website. So this local brute force setting will block those users, will lock out those users, will lock out the website for those users and for those IP addresses. And you can control the maximum login attempt per host per user and all the threshold from here. Now automatically ban anyone who's trying to use admin. Okay, so if you go to your website, let me do one thing, let me show you. If you see over here at the top right corner, you will see your username, or you can do one thing, you can just right click and open this page in a new tab. Now when you scroll down, this is your username. Make sure your username is not admin, because if you tick mark this thing, you will be basically logged out. So you don't want to do that. Now here, as you can see, this is our username. Many people try to log into your website using this very common username. So whenever someone even tries to use this username, we want to immediately lock them out. So this is very important. And your attempts. So within 5 minutes, okay, 5 minutes to remember, within 5 minutes, if a user or if a IP address gets 5 attempts, 5 bad attempts, 5 wrong attempts, we will lock them out. Okay. And similarly, maximum attempts per user. So within 5 minutes, if a person gets 5 login error, they will be logged out from this website. Okay, click on save settings again. Now let's see the network brute force and let's understand the difference between these two. Click on configure settings. Basically you don't have anything to do over here, but I just opened this just to explain you the difference. Now we have the local and the network. So in network, what we do is there is a network of 900,000 websites. So all the people who are using this iThemes security plugin, they have a network. So maybe someone tried to attack my website. So this plugin will get the IP address of that user or IP address of that computer. And what this will do is this will spread this IP address in the network. Now all the people who are using this plugin, now that IP address will be logged out from everyone's account. Okay, I hope it is understood. Let me explain you again. For example, we are in this network because this is enabled. So we are in a network, which is a network of all the people who are using this plugin. Now, if there is a website that is using this plugin, a hacker or an attacker tries to attack that website, this plugin will get the IP address of that attacker and it will enter that IP address in this network. So what happens is every person who is using this plugin, for them, this IP address will be automatically blocked because this plugin knows that this IP address is trying to attack different websites. So I hope again this is cleared. So very important setting again. Then after that we have the password requirements. So if you click on configure, if you enable this thing, everyone will have to choose a strong password. Strong password is just a lengthy password which has alphabets plus numbers plus special characters like asterisks, those brackets and all. So that is a strong password. Now let's see SSL certificate. So we already have SSL certificate installed on our website. As I said, if you want to see whether it is installed, click on over here, and if it says connection is secure, and if you see this logpad, which means that SSL is installed for you. Let's click on configure settings. Now you should always make sure that this thing is enabled. Now what this will do is it will filter all the data or all the visits on your website from HTTP to automatically to HTTPS, from the non-secured version to the secured version. All right, again you can just read this thing, you will understand it much better. Now system tweaks. Now let's enable this thing. Click on configure settings. Now let's understand these settings. Now first of all, system files. So there are very important system files over here like this config phpwp, config phpwp includes, and this .htaccess. So if you want to prevent public access, obviously you should do that. You should tick mark over here. And now also you should tick mark this thing, directory browsing, so that no one can see the directory browsing if there is a no index file. So if there is no index file, if you delete the index file from your website, anyone can see the directory browsing, which means that they can see all the different files on your website and they can attack that file. So very important, make sure you tick mark both the system files and also the directory files. Now these things are also important, but tick marking them sometimes might create some problem for some other plugin that you're using on your website. So I would recommend you to not tick mark this, but tick mark this one, upload PHP in upload. So no one can upload a PHP file on your website in the media folder. You can have a PHP file in the backend, but not in the front end, because most of the times when someone uploads a PHP file in the front end, they are trying to attack your website. So make sure you tick mark the system files, directory browsing, and PHP in uploads. Now click on save settings. Now WordPress solves. Click on this option, configure settings. This is automatically enabled for you. So there is a secret key inbuilt for WordPress. If you want, you can simply go ahead and you can update that key. And once that key is updated, it will make your password something like this, very big, which is very difficult to crack. So once you tick mark this thing, now remember, once you tick mark this thing, you will be logged out and you will have to log in again. So I would recommend you to update your WordPress salts, tick mark this thing, click on save settings. Now as you can see, you're logged out, you will have to log in again. And if this is what I was talking about. If your password was not strong, now because we have enabled strong password and because we have enabled this plugin, we have activated this plugin. Now every user must have a strong password like this. So this will automatically recommend you few password. If you like this, you can have this, or you can just type in some password from your side. For example, most of people just type in the phone number. Now as you can see, that is a very weak password. And if you add some alphabets over here, this will make it strong. Okay, so make sure you have a combination of alphabets and numbers and these kind of special characters. Okay, so I have set a new password, a strong password, and now I can click on update password. Now you'll see this page. Now let's again see some more settings from the left hand side, security settings. All right, so we have seen the final thing is just WordPress tweak. Click on configure things. Now here, just make sure these two things are enabled. Now, first of all, this is the most important one, file editor. Now let me first do one thing. If you hover over appearance right now, you don't see theme editor over here, and that is very important. If I just untick this thing, file editor, if I don't disable file editor, let me show you saved settings. If I again refresh this website, let me show you what happens. Now you will see under appearance there is a new option, theme editor, and once you click on theme editor, now you can see all the PHP files from here, and anyone can come, they can attack your website, they can, they can have, or they can just paste in some script that will display different kind of ads on your website, pop-ups on your website that will really make your website very irritative. So you should not have this thing enabled. We should always hide theme editor. So again, very easy to do that. From the left hand side, again go to security settings and make sure under WordPress tweaks this thing is tick mark, okay, so that no one can see the file editor. Now click on save settings. Now again, if I refresh this thing under appearance, now as you can see that file is now hidden. Now let's see a very important and advanced setting. So this was all under recommended. Now let's go to advanced. So click on advanced. Now don't touch these things, admin, user, content directory, these things. Just go to hide backend, because this is very important. So go to hide backend, click on configure settings. Now we all know that whenever a website is using WordPress, we know how to go to the dashboard. Let me show you. This website is using WordPress. You should always know that, but if you don't know, let me explain you. If I open this website in a new private window, now if anyone sees that this website is using WordPress, they know how to go to the dashboard or how to go to the login page. They can type wp/wp-login.php. This is the login PHP file. They can go to this page and they can see this login thing, and now they can just try many different username, many different password, and they can try to log into your website. Or they can go to wp-admin. It will redirect them to the login page. So we want to hide this page so that no one can see this page. So to hide this page, this is where this thing is important, hide backend. Make sure to first enable this thing. And now change your login slug. So instead of that wp-admin, wp-login, what you want to make? Maybe I want to make it Nayar's 1 2 3 4 5 6, or maybe let me just type in Nayar 1 2 3. All right, you can type in more things over here. All right, so make sure you do this thing. Click on save settings. Now let me show you one thing again. Let's go to that file over here. Now if I go to my website, and let me show you. Now if I try to go to wp-admin, let's see what happens. If I go to wp-admin, now as you can see, I'm getting a 404 page not found page. Now if you remember, we have first of all, what is happening, we are not able to see that page. We are not able to see the wp-admin page. Let's see whether we can see the wp login page, wp-login.php. Now as you can see, we can also not see this page. And also if you remember, we had a setting for 404 error. If you again go back to this setting, first let me just click on save settings. We had a setting in the recommended option related to 404 detection. So within 10 minutes, if I get 7 such errors like these errors, I will be logged out, because I'm trying to look for a website or look for a page or a file that does not exist or may be hidden. So this is a very useful plugin. And now let me show you whether I can visit that page with the new thing that I've checked, okay, or with the new slug. So it was Nayar 1 2 3. If I visit this link, now I can see this page. So as you can see, this is working absolutely fine. Alright guys, so with this tutorial is completed. So if you follow these steps, your website will be very much secure. At least more secure than what it was before this plugin. And with this tutorial is completed. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope you guys find this thing helpful. If you find this thing helpful, make sure to subscribe to the channel and click on the bell icon so that you can watch more videos, more useful videos like these ones. Always make sure to go to YouTube, look whatever website or whatever video you're looking for, just type in my name, Nayar Sheikh, and after that you can just search for that. For example, if you're looking for Amazon affiliate website, you can see that website. If you're looking for maybe SSL related thing, just type in that, you will see this thing. If you want to improve the speed and performance of your website, just type in Nayar Sheikh speed or something like that. Now as you can see, how to improve your website speed. So all the tutorials related to WordPress are available on my website, so make sure you check them out. Now please don't forget to give a thumbs up to this video, and throughout the video if you have any doubts, any comments, any suggestions for me, you can leave them in the comments section below. Thanks a lot for watching this video guys. See you in the next one.